Honourable Member of Calgary-Fish Creek.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Social license can be an important consideration for industry, including energy producers and pipeliners. But as we are finding out, is not the only consideration. As Shell stood with the Premier to accept carbon taxes, they also began their pullout from the oil sands, redirecting scarce capital to more business-friendly jurisdictions. I call that a hug and a shove. To the Minister of Energy, even with your clap and carbon tax, Shell still chose to divest itself of oil sands assets. What are you doing specifically today to stem the flight of international capital?
The Honourable Minister of Energy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As I previously said, we were very pleased this week when I was in Houston to find out that a good Alberta company doubled down not just on Albertans, but doubled down on their investments in Alberta oil sands. When I spoke to the President, he also assured me he was going to look for opportunities to upgrade in Alberta and invest more in Alberta. The opposition continues to mislead this House and indeed Albertans for their own political gain. That side of the House is fear-mongering. This side of the House is supporting Alberta energy.
Mr. Speaker, given that Shell, Statoil, Total and Marathon have recently divested themselves of billions in oil sands assets, and given that we are thankful CNRL, Athabasca and others were able to acquire them at significant discounts, and are happy to see Canadian companies increase their holdings, we still have grave concerns with 4 multinationals pulling out of the oil sands. Again to the minister, has your government driven investor confidence down so far that the oil sands are now only to be considered as a regional investment opportunity?
Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On that side of the House earlier, people cheered against us succeeding in getting a pipeline. We got not one, but we got 2. You've criticized major companies before about investing in Alberta. We have Alberta companies investing in Alberta, and you criticize. We're focused on this side for making life better for Albertans. We're focused on helping our companies. We're proud for any company, Alberta or not, to invest in Alberta.
Point of order noted.
NDP. Mr. Speaker, given that the government continues to employ Sephora Berman against the wishes of the vast majority of Albertans, and given that Ms. Berman recently called upon Queen's University to divest their oil sands assets, akin to what some schools have done with tobacco, and given I am sure you would agree that this comparison is absurd. Again to the minister, with your government driving out the multinationals and your friends trying to drive out equity investment of Canadians, who will be left to invest in Alberta when you are done?
The Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In fact, Albertans are investing in Albertans. The company this last week doubled down on their investment in Alberta, and they have confidence in Albertans. We again are growing tired of hearing the comments about bad deals and frankly, not cheering for Albertans, and that's not something we're doing. We are not going to stop till we get more investment in Alberta, and with the pipelines, we see shovels in the ground, something they continue to cheer against, not on this side of the House.